My name is Charlie Laughlin. I'm with the residential department at Commercial Service, and today we're going to be talking about prepping your pipes for winter. Prepping your pipes for winter is a generic statement for preparing your house for winter. When we get temperatures below freezing, that's when we see pipe breaks, water damage in homes, water loss. So making sure you're taking the steps to reduce your chances of that happening are key. At some point, almost every homeowner is going to have a busted pipe, and there are some very easy steps to take to prevent that from happening. So disconnecting hose from an outdoor spigot. Most newer homes have frost-free hose spigots, which means they shut water off actually on the inside of the insulation, and they drain that water out, and so you don't have a problem with those creating a water event down the road. But if a hose is connected to those, it's a whole different story, because then you have water that extends outside and will freeze, and it'll damage the ability of that appliance to shut off, that hose spigot to shut off. If you have an older home, 40s, 50s, 60s home, a lot of those houses don't have frost-free hose bibs, and so those shut off right at the house. And so either getting the water out of that pipe by installing a shutoff inside somewhere where you can drain that water down, or using an insulated cover for that hose bib is the right thing to do in the wintertime to prevent those from freezing. Utility sinks in a garage, if you have any faucets, kitchen faucet or bathroom faucets that are on an outside wall, piping, drain piping or water piping that runs up an outside wall, you may not know that until it freezes. There are a lot of steps. We've got them on our website. You can Google them. There are a lot of steps you can take going into what we know is going to be a super, super cold weekend or a super cold couple days, where you may need to run water on a slow drip. You may need to open up all of the vanity cabinets in your house to allow the heat from inside to get to those pipes to prevent them from freezing. Making sure that your garage door is down and sealed. A lot of homes have their water heaters and their furnaces in the garage, and if you don't have a good tight seal around that garage door, normally in the winter it may be 40, 45 in there in the morning, but when we go into temperatures that are going to be sub-zero, it may be below freezing in the garage when you wake up. There's two reasons you would insulate water pipes. One is to keep a hot water line hot as it travels around your house. Another reason you would insulate pipes is to prevent them from freezing in the winter. If you're insulating your water pipes on your own, the biggest mistake that homeowners make is they insulate them away from the heat. And that can be just as damaging as insulating them away from the cold. And so a lot of times where we have water pipes that break or that freeze and then thaw out and they're broken and then spew water everywhere, it's because the cold air has gotten to the pipe. But more importantly, the warm air from the house has not gotten to the pipe. And so there are a lot of instances where a cold water line may have that exposure to the outside elements, but we've got enough exposure to the inside heat that it doesn't cause a problem. When you're insulating your water pipes, you need to be cognizant of, am I insulating this pipe from the cold, or am I insulating it from the heat of the house? And if you don't know the answer to that, you need to speak with a technician about how to do that properly. Generally, an unfinished basement's going to stay, even without any heat down there, it's going to stay well above freezing, no matter what the outdoor temperature is. Crawl spaces can be a different story, and that's where it's important to know, if you are going to insulate those pipes, or you do have insulation in the crawl space, how they're insulated. Are they insulated away from the cold or away from the heat? You always want to keep your pipes warm enough that they don't freeze, and eliminate their exposure to the outside elements. There are a lot of companies out there that will come and fix your crawl space real nice so that you don't have those problems. But talking to one of the technicians in our office, they're more than happy to walk you through the steps of what's the proper way to insulate water lines and what's the wrong way to do it.